Hello, Sheena Douglass here again. Now I'm going to show you how to create something like this card, but it's all really about the background more than anything else, because I want to show you just how versatile your H2Os are, because they're just absolutely fantastic value for money. So this whole card, all the colour that you see on here, has come from one set of the berries set of H2Os. So I'm going to show you from scratch, and so let's get cracking. The stamps, by the way, are from the Silhouette Garden stamps, which are my set A5 stamps. Right, as usual, piece of square Centura pearl card. You can see it's pearly on one side, but it's absolutely fab. The back side, the bit that hasn't been messed with, is perfect for paint, distressings, all that kind of thing. So I have a selection. Now these are larger jars, but they are the colours from your berries, plum berry set of H2Os. So what I'm going to do, before you do anything when you're working with H2Os, put some water on them. You have to put a good puddle of water on them and leave them standing, because there's nothing going to happen if you think you can just wet a brush and go for it. It just doesn't work. These little pots are so concentrated. There's no fillers. They are like, well, they're just the most, well, I've never used a paint like them. They're really just, they go on forever. They're great value for money, and you're going to love them. Right, so what I've done is I've spritzed the background really well here with water, because I want to create a really washy kind of background. I don't want a lot of colour in here. I'm going to use a neutral pearly colour just to switch over here, just to dilute any of the colour I'm going to put on there. Now it's always good if you can get a pearl from any other set. Now it's not in the berry set, but I do love it. If you can get it, get it. I'm going to use this pinky colour and just splodge in amongst that. Now I want this really pale. I don't want it in your face. This is the background I'm creating. Look, really no skill required, honestly. Just put it on there, splodge it on. If you want a bit of a darker tone, be careful, look, be warned. That's Wine and Roses. It's mighty powerful. But look, just wet it out a little bit. If it was too strong, just blend it out. And right, you're probably not too impressed so far, but that's fine. We're not finished. Right, that'll do. Okay, that's enough colour from H2Os. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my pearl shimmer sprays. This is the pearl blue. Now I could dilute this with water to get it to run and mix in like I want it to, but if I do that, I'm actually diluting the mica as well. So what I'm liking, what I do, is I keep these pearl colours for exactly this kind of application. You can push the colour around using those as well, and you'll be surprised at how little you use. So give that a quick blast now, and you can see how it's all blending and marbling in together. If I wasn't recording this video, what I would do is I definitely wouldn't waste all of this on my worksheet. I would get another piece of card and I'd pick it up, just splodge it in there. You're going to get some fantastic backgrounds with the stuff that has either run off the card or you've oversprayed, which is why I always like to work on a non-stick craft sheet. You can work on old paper, but with old paper you just get what you've got. With the non-stick craft sheet you can move the colour around and then splodge it onto your piece of new card wherever you want it. So can you see how that's drying? So this is what we've just created. You've got a really good covering just with those tiny little jars. Isn't that amazing? And the bling and the reflection's fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to get ready. We're going to stamp with the H2Os. Decide which side you want up and which side you want down. We'll do it that way. So let's start with the grass at the front, which is this stamp here I'm going to use. And the secret to your success with stamping with H2Os is that you're going to want to use the paint so they're all thick and gloopy. You don't want to use them watery. You need them nice and quite substantial and like I say, gloopy there. So let's do some of this nice purple colour. You can see it's still a bit runny there, but mix it in so that it's really going to cling to the rubber. So get it really well mixed. Just gorgeous. And you'll be surprised at how far these go as well. Once you've loaded a stamp once, I think I've been known to get about 15 images from that one loading of the stamp, because you just spritz it with a little bit of water and stamp away. There's one. Great, we'll do another level of that one. I'm not putting more on, I'm just using what's on my brush to just go over that again. And then we'll put another one there. Really, absolutely is a massive benefit if you clean your rocker blocks. I can't stress that enough. Let's use a bit of this one here. We're going to get much darker here with the tone. So we're going to just overstamp that. Now I'm overlapping every time these images And then let's move that a little bit darker at the bottom again. Now I'm also going to stamp with the black embossing powder at some point at the very foreground here, so I'm not worried about if there's any little gaps. But can you see how we've got a nice transition of colours there? Now that's the base, they're the grasses. I'm just going to leave it at that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Wisteria. Now there's two sizes on the stamp sheet, there's the larger and the smaller, but I think I'm going to use the smaller to start with in the background, and I'm going to use I think the purple first. So just go ahead, brush it on your stamp as you did, and then just go ahead and start. Now you want this is going to look better if it's some lower, some higher. Just go ahead, randomly stamp some of those. I'll do a few of this one, then I'll show you how I'm going to build it up with a darker colour. Now you can see that the whole thing is, it doesn't matter what colour option you choose. The Plumberry is the card, the sample I showed you at the beginning of this video, but it's up to you whichever one you want to use, and they all work. You just want some colours that are going to work nicely together, and if you get one of the starter sets of H2Os, you're going to get that because all the thought's been done for you. They're going to work together. So we've got some good colours there. Now you could maybe go in with the darker colour, and then we'll see how we're going to build that up. And then later on even, you could always go, and I'm just going to move ahead, in with the darker Wisteria. You might want to even paint two colours on the one stamp. It's just crazy, but it might just work. And then just go ahead and see how that's filling in more there. Right, I'm going to continue with this, and then I'm going to come back to me. So this is where we're at. I continued stamping at the top and the bottom. You can see it's got some nice depth, and the vibrancy of the colour is amazing compared to the more subtle tones in the background. So now we're going to start stamping and create this the silhouette part of this whole thing. Oops, should have cleaned this stamp earlier, but I kind of forgot. Not like me at all. Yeah, lovely. So I'm going to ink it up using a black pigment ink. And I'm really going to put quite a bit of ink on this, because when you're stamping onto a mica background, you might find that you need to apply a little bit more ink than you normally would, because the mica kind of can resist the ink. Can just say, I'm not playing with that, thank you very much. I made that a little bit higher than I had intended, but you know what? That's the fun of stamping. You're never going to get two exactly the same, are you? A bit more. Now if you need to cover any bits in there, cover any bits, like if there's a little line in there, we can fix that with a little bit of a Versamark pen. Will work wonders. So I'm going to go ahead and emboss this, and then I'll come back and we'll show you the Wisteria, and we'll put the table and chairs in. So I've gone ahead and stamped the base, which is a little bit higher than I had intended, but that's fine. And I've put the patio set in, and now I'm going to work on the Wisteria. So this is how we're going to do this. I might just use actually the let's use a mixture of the large and the small. I'm going to use the larger maybe around the outside. So this time I'm just using the black pigment ink. I'm going to go ahead and stamp 2 or 3 of the larger ones. Maybe you can come further down there to make a little frame. That'll be great. So let's emboss them. Just because I'm scared of them. These lights are so hot that I'm working under that. It might even just dry out the ink before I get the chance to put the embossing powder on. So we'll just get those embossed. Thing is, I don't want to cover all of that lovely pretty colour I've just put on there previously, which is why I'm going to now just go with the smaller ones, just to keep the texture going a little bit. And again, I want to, you know, vary the height as well. A bit higher there. That'd be great. So we'll emboss them, and then we'll finish off with the leaves at the top. And that's about pretty much almost it done. If you haven't used silhouette stamps before, you're going to love them, because like I said, you can just go over what's already on there and not worry about, just a little bit of embossing powder there, not worry about having to mask anything. You just go ahead and stamp on top of it. And then I'm going to finish off with the leaves here, this leaf design. and that will just, I'll just be able to over stamp this, and it'll just tie everything together at the top. Again, if you can have a little bit of the colour showing through here and there, it's going to be better. That should do fine. I'll emboss that. I think that's all good. And there you have your little pretty little scene in the garden. Really simple. This was the original. So what I would do to finish it off is I would use a little bit of black embossing powder around the side. I think it just ties everything in nicely. I've stamped a little butterfly, maybe a little dragonfly, which is on that stamp set, would look great. There's even a tiny little bird that you can stamp on the top of one of the little chairs, or even on the table. It's drawn to proportion, so that would work. And there you have it. H2Os aplenty, and if you want to see samples, including this sample, go to sheena.tv, and there you'll find everything. Thank you very much.